Wikipedia, quote,
Yeah.
storytelling describes, there's no sometimes in there, the social and cultural activity of sharing stories, sometimes with improvisation, theatrics, or embellishment. Every culture has its own stories or narratives, which are shared as a means of entertainment, education, cultural preservation, or instilling moral values. Storytelling predates writing, not surprising. The earliest forms of storytelling were usually oral, combined with gestures and expressions. Storytelling was used to explain natural phenomena. Bards told stories of creation and developed a pantheon of gods and myths. Mispronunciation already. Oral stories passed from one generation to the next, and storytellers were regarded as healers, leaders, spiritual guides, teachers, cultural secrets keepers, and entertainers. Oral storytelling came in various forms, including songs, poetry, chants, and dance. And so one of the reasons I wanted to start with that is because, there's a lot going on there.
There's a lot.
That's encompassing a lot.
I'm going to work some of that into my bio, I think.
Yeah, you should.
Healers, seekers.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. No, my favorite one, though, was cultural secrets keepers.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I want to be one of those. So my question, though, for you then is, how would you define or describe storytelling today as we sort of think of it as a...
Right. So, the kind of popular form right now, and it is very popular, the sort of American Western idea, the moth, these NPR shows that I do, Snap Judgment, these live monthly shows. The conceit of that, generally for most of the shows, is that it's true story and it's your story. So it's first person, your adventures. It's not your story about your grandfather's experience unless it relates to you. That's sort of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And some people play with that, but that's generally the form now that's really popular. There's a sort of another school, not as popular now, but it was, I think, a few decades ago, where people were telling, here in the U.S., telling sort of, how the moon got its glow kind of stories.
Yeah?
Kind of, yeah, it's a little more hippie.
Mm-hmm.
So not so much these sort of personal misadventures, or sometimes deep, sometimes funny, whatever. But it is definitely that, gather around the fire and share stories.
Yeah.
And allow these people to walk in your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, the real appeal of it. So that very intimate connection of people being able to, because we're all ultimately separate from one another physically, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't
Mm-hmm.
literally get inside someone's head, even if you've been married to them for 50 years.
Well, there's channeling.
There's channeling.
Right, but
yes,
otherwise...
well, that's, yes,
right.
This is the Bay Area, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, Ramtha aside, so it's really a chance to, imperfectly, incompletely, but sort of live vicariously in someone else's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And people just are really looking for that right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons for that, I think. But it's very popular, that form. Right now, I think part of the reason is, we're bombarded with data, we're bombarded with information. Change is happening very fast, a lot of dislocation, a lot of things going on. We have a lot of information, but we don't necessarily have a lot of meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
what storytelling implies. So I think in the Wikipedia description, people who imbue meaning,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're healers or they're cultural secret keepers, I'm going to use that one.
Own that. Own that one.
Yeah, so both for the audience and for ourselves, I teach storytelling a lot, and sometimes it's folks that really want to do it professionally. Sometimes it's folks that just want to work on presentations at work, like instead of doing a PowerPoint, like create stories.
And we're going to talk about your teaching. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just people who want to learn how to tell stories at cocktail parties.
Yeah.
And what I always tell people is, just tell the story the way you would tell it to friends over wine.
Okay.
But even in those cases, it's really that intimate connection that's very exciting and
Trying to
interesting.
get to that.
Yeah.